Now, we will talk about the talent powered organizations, and in the talent powered organizations we have the introduction. Diversity is your biggest asset. Learning and skill development are critical organizational capabilities. Building and capturing knowledge. Engagement is the key to high performance, and in this case first we will talk about that there was the Winston Churchill's imperatives during the Second World War. It meant that what it said, and the Churchill demanded a report on how it was executed. Emphasize the must do's for the organizational leaders, line managers and finance HR professionals, employees and governments including the regulators. Talent is the single most important force creating strategic value for your organization, and therefore, in that case here you will find the what is important, most important is the human capital of the organization. It is the man behind the machine, manpower. You see that is the highly motivated and engaged, committed, happy your employees will be, better will be the business strategy success. So, therefore, and this has been said that is it is the single most force, because getting the money difficult, getting the machine is difficult, getting the understanding the methods is difficult, managing the minutes that is difficult, right, but managing the man, and that is a talented man, it is most difficult. So, every resource you will have, but unless and until that manpower, you can have the best technology, but who will run that technology, right, and that running the technology, that will be decided by these the particular the manpower, those who are working in that organization. And here we will find that is the, if there are the 5 core principles and practices of the talent power organizations and identified as follows. There is the executive leadership. Now, creating this vision. Now, who drives, like you see, only selecting the talented people and not making the use of those talented source, what is the fun, right, and therefore, in that case it becomes important. There is a strong leadership involvement in talent management is absolutely necessary to create a talent powered organization. So, unless and until that development leadership, the development is not there, right. So, it will be a very troublesome, right, unless you are having that leadership. So, and not only that leaders are not at the top, but their involvement and engagement is there, because there will be very small issues also, but when you have given the delegation or the empower also somebody else, and there is not a focus by the leader, then that job will not be done, ultimately dissatisfaction. So, low productivity and then employees turnover. So, the whole system and process, dear friends, it depends on the leader's involvement. More he is involved, concerned, better will be the results and output is there. So, when we want to create a talent powered organization, 100% involvement of the leader is required. Leaders must demonstrate to their entire organization that talent is at the top of their personal agenda, right. So, therefore, in the here it will be important, that is the whatever is there at the personal agenda that they have to describe. So, in here it is the process, it is a complete process, that is the their focus, leaders focus and priority. It is not the profit, it is not the only ROI, no, only ROI, it is the ROI with people, right, and if it is in their personal agenda. Every time we talk about the Dr. Kalam, right, that how much he was concerned. So, his business strategies and goals of the missile, right, but the people, the scientist, he was so personally taking care of these the co-workers, that intellectual capital and that leadership involvement, that is really becoming the example. So, what a human capital strategy is required to develop? Leaders must demonstrate understanding of the key components of their strategies, which depend on developing and using the talent to gain sustainable competitive advantage. So, here they are making the use of, right, that sustainable competitive advantage is there, and then this will be developing the talent there, right. So, what their components are important, strategies components are important, that we will see in the human capital development is there. So, human capital strategy entails understanding the drivers of high performance for the organization and recognizing the key sources of value creation. These drivers of the high performance, right, they are becoming very, very important, and as a result of which you can find that is we have talked about the drivers of success, and therefore, those the drivers, the factors, the mega factors which are going for the high performance, that is a satisfaction, employee satisfaction, employee engagement, right, and empowerment. So, therefore, enrichment, all these aspects, they are the drivers of high performance. So, the talent, a normal employee may be happy with the job enlargement, may not be the job enrichment, but a talented person, job enlargement, okay, it may be a part of his job, that is fine, but what he is looking for? He is looking for the job enrichment, that quality value addition to the job, that is his first condition, so that he can feel satisfied and he can make those changes in the organization. If you want to take the organization to the next level, then of course, these value creation, key sources of value creation, differentiation, who will bring the differentiation in your products? There are the 100 competitors in the market. How do you differentiate yourself? That strategy, that will create the value. Thinking through the demands of the leadership, talent, organization and culture in executing strategy, and where the gaps are from today. So, naturally, these demands of the leadership and the talent is there, right. So, it will be possible only, that is the organization and cultures are again, that organization and culture, the practices, building those practices of the nurturing the talent, developing the talent and appreciating the talent. So, that appreciation for talent, that is the culture. Improvisation. So, there are three factors. One is swikarak, that is you accept. One is sudharak, that is what you improve, and one is uddharak, that is going to the next level. So, therefore, in that case, that is a culture. If you accept it, whatever it is there, and then you can't make any change, no change management. But when you go for the improvement, you are one level ahead, that is through training and development. But when you are becoming the uddharak, that is the innovation, transformation of the organization. So, talent's contribution is there for this transformation in executing the strategies, and where the gaps are from today, that is a continuous journey to develop that goal. Identifying talent in the segments of the workforce that are most critical. So, what are the different workforces are there that has to be identified? and then they are the highly critical for the execution of strategy today, that whatever the strategy is there, they have to define that particular strategy. And it has been mentioned over the next 5 years, it will be continuous process, because in the previous session I have talked about, that is about the 2050. So, for an organization, however, it is a very wishful thinking, that is the we have to plan for the 2050, but yes, when you are talking about the strategies and of the business organization, it is not of an individual. So, we should plan at least for the next 30 years, and in those 30 years all the predictions, the trend analysis, benchmarking, that everything has to be understood. Recognizing the areas of talent that are most at risk from the retirements, right. So, it will not be the same one, it will be different. So, here what is important, that is the challenge, they are not going for, that is to work in the organization till the retirement. They will get better opportunities, they will compare and they will go, but the non talented people, as a normal employee, he may not see the growth opportunities, and then he may continue in the organization. Either the organization should give to the internal employees to the growth and opportunities in such a way, that is there is a retention of the talent. Otherwise, we have seen, that is how big is the employees turnover, talent turnover problem is there in the organizations. So, organizations require to be very competitive in investments. Shortage of skills, because getting those skilled employees, you means that organization has also checked that particular employee is shortlisted through the talent acquisition process. So, that sustainability and maintaining and retaining the talent, that will be, you have to see, otherwise you will not get this because of the shortage of the skills. And year wise year, like here it has been mentioned for the 5 years, year wise year you will find that there is a change in the skills, and that pace of the competitiveness is required. So, what to do? Identifying the present and potential sources of talent, appraising options, potential appraisals, and creating a talent supply chain for the sourcing talent, and therefore, that should be a continuous chain of the supply of the talent. So, talent supply chain, that is becoming the message from this particular slide. What is required to the organization? Organization requires to develop the talent supply chain, and if they are able to develop the talent supply chain, then definitely the workforce will be strengthened forever and again. Measuring the value of talent, again the measurement is very important. So, whatever we do, ultimately it should be measurable. Our contribution is required to be measurable, because such a high proportion of total business value is now represented by the human and knowledge capital, human capital and the knowledge capital. In the knowledge capital, we know how to create. The first and foremost is, how do you get, use, learn, contribute, build and sustain, that is how do you build and sustain that particular your responsibilities. So, therefore, in that get that knowledge management is the build and sustain, right, and on the basis of the build and sustain, it is becoming the your divest. So, these human capital or knowledge capital get, use, learn, contribute, build and sustain, right, assess and divest. measuring that assessment and the diversity. This is given by the Wendy Ruth. Wendy and Ruth. So, creation of the human capital or the knowledge capital and the knowledge management, that is the that will create and making the assessments is there. Now, the comprehensive and robust measurement to make the good judgments assessment, and then again you will find certain dimensions they are giving more, certain dimensions they are giving less output, and therefore, you can make the changes into the investment and there and developing the capabilities, because you will assess the capabilities also, and definitely they will be capable, but in that capabilities what is important is this, that is you have to make the changes, amendments, or maybe sometimes redefine the capabilities are there. So, talent supply chain and the right sourcing. Organizations must think strategically about the how and where to access the talent to meet the future demands of the enterprise. That is the where are this access is there, the talented, right. So, it must be strategically you have to decide. If when we are talking about the right sourcing, so here after the assessment basically you have to find out where to access the talent, right, for the future demands of the enterprise. So, where to access talent means the right sourcing, picking the options that offer the maximum gain to the business strategy, in particular examines the cost and benefit of the new talent locations. So, when you say work from home in the corona time COVID-19 we have seen what organizations have done, organizations have asked to work from home, and then they realize, oh, these jobs can these are the certain jobs which can which are supposed to be done from home only. Why we should hire a office and they pay for the rent for the office? Let them work from the home, so that overhead costs can be reduced. So, many realizations not realizations in the finance, but realizations into the interpersonal relationship also done. So, in some cases the diverse cases are increased, in some locations the diverse cases are increased, because they spend more time with each other and then they realize that, oh, they were on the wrong track. So, therefore, in that case that is the right sourcing, it becomes very important, and in this case you will find that is the picking the options that how these the talent locations that is becoming the work from home, and then the performance or outputs are there, then there will be no problem, and as a result of which the cost can be reduced. Now, here a thorough understanding of their local cultures and the regulatory frameworks that can be found. So, here will be there the whatever the local culture is there, we are talking about the local aspects, and in the local aspects we are talking about that if there is any local culture is there, that is to be followed. Second is understanding of more diverse pools of the talent, diversification in the talent will be naturally there, and how to access them together with implications for the existing sources of talent. So, we have to coordinate, we have to understand there are different diverse the skills, knowledge, and there will be the different the academic background, there will be the demographic variables, all these type of the issues will be there, and therefore, from the existing source of talent we have to identify. Exploring the possibilities of working with the partners or outsourced service providers. That was a wonderful the session, you might have appreciated that, where I have talked about that other than the regular employees, what are the different types of the outsourced employees are there, right, and there is a consultants and all. So, therefore, in that case this is the we have to explore. Once we have explored work from home, either we will explore from the there are the partners or outsourced service providers are there, they will do, and in the new locations who can provide access to new talent. Assessing the possibilities of the contingent labor forces, that we have discussed there also in these temporary workers. So, therefore, that is the contingent workers, they will make these sessions, including the new collaborative networks and the free talent are there. So, here we will talk about that is the how that is the freelancers, and those freelancers are the talented. Now, that culture is required to develop. Our mindset that is to be changed, and this nation needs to change that mindset. That is the permanent jobs, one job forever, no skill development, that will not work, because if you want the growth, if you want the ROI, then it is very necessary that is you are making the new challenges and learning and development practices, identifying the problems and providing the solutions, and it will be only possible through the freelancers. Freelancers generations will keep on changing. Those who are upgrading themselves, they will continue to associate are the partners, right here. So, who will be the partners? These freelancers can be the partners if they are developing themselves, and that is also the part with the internal employees also. If the internal employees are developing themselves, there is no problem. If they are not developing themselves, then that is becoming the issue. The virtuous cycle of the talent multiplication is measuring all the critical aspects of the talent in each part of the cycle, right. So, it is very important, that is the all the aspects of the talent, that is the whatever we are developing, that has to be the seen, and that talent multiplications can be done. Understanding talent at a granular level of the competencies and using a competency framework, right. So, here it will be that is the whatever the granular level of the competencies are there, that require to be identify and develop, and using that competency framework to integrate the different elements of the talent cycle. So, whatever the talent cycles are there, right, that has to be developed. So, integrating all the processes associated with the talent management and the development, that is the that association with the talent management and development is required, right. And which processes? The organizational processes, organizational strategies, organizational goals, individual strategies, individual goals, individual's competency, right, and that is the association is to be there, and taking a holistic approach, individual and the organization. Whenever the talent is taken as an individual vis-a-vis the organization's need and the talent's competency, and when we are taking as a holistic approach, I am sure you will also say that is then the success is there. Segmenting the workforce through different dimensions appropriate to the different parts of the talent cycle to provide the greater insight and understanding. Whenever we are having these different dimensions appropriateness, and so there will be different verticals. So, here the workforce, there are different dimensions that has to be classified. Whenever you classify different dimensions, right, in the talent cycle, right, then definitely we will be able to get the greater insight for the organization development, talent management, right. So, because talent is with you in the organization, they are the internal employees, and therefore, in that case, if you want to make them the most competent source, and then there it will be only possible whenever we talk about the developing the talent cycle, right, from the embryonic growth, right. So, it will be like this: embryonic means acquisition of talent, then there will be the growth of the talent, right. Then there will be the maturity of that skills and knowledge, which we keep on talking, that is the talent has to upgrade and develop periodically, and then there will be decline. Now, here to make the greater insight and understanding and continuing with the talent cycle, what is to be done? And that is to be done through this particular process. So, this particular process which will be having this type of these aspects, that is the we are going at the growth stage, right. So, before going to the maturity and declining, again there is a development of the talent. Whenever there is a development of the talent, then definitely we will go for the further development. So, dear friends, integrating these processes with the working with the organizations and developing the talent, that is making the important part. So, how we defining the talent, what are the stages? The stages are defining the talent, right, and discovering the talent, that is the what knowledge and skills they are having, periodically developing the talent and the deploying the talent. So, in this overall talent management process, you must have observed that is this whole process of these talent acquisition and management that has been covered. And if we talk this particular type of the processes, we will be having the biggest asset into our organizations. So, when you are having the specific competencies you need, right, and working with the channels, different channels, attracting diverse workforce, right, diversity is very important, because we talk about the global. So, global and local. So, therefore, that employees values proposition will be distributed at the global level also, at the local level also, and then to meet that global need, the diversity of the manpower is very much important. So, finally, we can say learning and skill developments are critical organizational capabilities are there in the knowledge economy. The readiness of the skills it demands from the workforce and ever greater competencies. The learning the faster, learning is better. Learning and development is targeted and demonstrated around these 7 key principles. Learning with the purpose, align learning initiatives closely with our strategic goals that we have seen. Learning with the impact, that is a measurement, business contribution of your learning effort. Learning with the outreach, spread the benefits of new learning to suppliers, customers and other partners of your organizations, that is the outreach is there. Learning with the leverage, promote learning in place where it is most critical, right. And finally, we can say learning with the integration, integrate the learning with the other human performance systems and functions of the organizations. There will be the variety, blend learning methods for the greatest impact are to be created, and whenever we are creating these learning methods for the impact. No, ultimately what is that? That is the impact factor, and with these integrations we are creating impact. Learning with maturity, finally achieve the maturity in the design and delivery of leadership courses. Dear friends, whenever we are having this type of the leadership procedure, involvement of the leader for the making the talent management process the success, we are developing and creating the value proposition of the talented people, integrating with the organizational strategies and goals. I am sure that is the whole process from the defining the talent, diversification of the talent, developing the talent, and therefore talent even separation, that whole process will be integrated, and whenever it will be reached to the maturity, as I suggested, again you will go for the development, and then there will be the process of complete talent acquisition and management. Thank you.